And I had great childhood. Loved landing at Baylor. I got a journalism degree because it was the easiest degree I could get. My mother-in-law says that I majored in Antioch and minored in Baylor. Very accurate.
Me too. Well, not even Baylor. MCC, minored in MCC.
I paid a lot more from my minor than you, so you made a better call there. But it all turned out well.
Life is a playground that God has given us. It's meant for building, creating, risking, failing, learning, and becoming. Here, we will tell the stories of people who are living audaciously so that you can feel the permission to play too. So come and play with us on the Audacious Playground.
I want to know, John, do you actually have a good side or bad side? I think that's just a myth.
I think, well, debatable. Like, you know how you see yourself in the mirror, and then if you see yourself in a picture, it looks weird? That's kind of what I'm going. Oh, well, it is for me.
This is how we're starting.
Because you see yourself, and it's like, hey, my hair part's this way, like right to left.
I would say
When you look in the mirror,
listening to my voice on a podcast or a song always sounds different, and it
Welcome.
throws me for a loop initially.
Our voices are weird.
yeah, maybe our voices are weird.
But who are these voices, John?
I'm excited that my voice is actually getting recorded this time. So,
Yes.
check
For those
to
who
make
don't
sure.
know, last episode, it was amazing editing by yours truly. But John, we forgaunted about 5 minutes of recording.
My
But
mic was muted.
no one the wiser, but now you know. This is BTS.
So there we go. We're all set. But we're going to kick off today with a little around the horn and introductions. First off, we've got the producer extraordinaire, Preston Seibert, bringing you hot takes and all of the fun
Yes.
images and videos that we got going on. To my right is Jon Mark Buckner. He is the man, the myth, the legend, everything that you would dream of if you thought of the best person you've ever met.
He's kind of like the, you know how like some NFL coaches are like, oh, he's a coach's coach. But it's like, oh, he's a player's coach. Jon Mark is the people's mayor
There you go.
without being the mayor.
I concur.
Very kind. Very kind.
And then myself, Jon Mark McGovern. Wait a minute.
You're just
John Mike McGovern.
I endeavor to be like Jon Mark. But Jon McGovern here. I'll keep us moving along, hopefully at a good pace today. But not too fast, you know?
Around the horn?
Kind of like the lazy river. That's the pace we're looking for. Anyway, let's get into it.
We're doing
So-
around the horn.
We're going to do a little bit around the horn.
That's baseball.
What's
Yeah.
new in the world?
What's he
today?
been up to?
Lots.
And then we will follow up with a little deep dive for Jon Mark.
I want to invite Preston to go first. Tell us what you're up to.
So I would like to make an addendum
Okay.
for last week's podcast. I named some people wrong for the origin of Waco music, like contemporary Christian. So we got people like, so Billy Ray Hearn was connected to it, but Gerald McCracken, which is a great name. Gerald McCracken.
Dude, if I could do a legal name change.
Kurt
that would be
Kaiser.
it.
I said Kurt Kirkpatrick, which he is. Kurt Kirkpatrick was a great CCM producer, but Kurt Kaiser. And then Stan Moser. Woo!
A little shout out.
Shout out. I'm meeting him next week in Nashville, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
But he ran the office here in Waco, so that's fun. So that's my addendum. That is something I learned this last week.
Okay.
I'm glad you made the record straight.
I did. Had to make the record straight. And then also, so my quick high-low of the last week since we last recorded. You know, we are finding all the things about music business and seeing what we're going to do. And I don't really have a high or low with it. It just, I'm thankful to be working with John. And yesterday we were like a married couple in our conversation, and we had some back and forth. But you know, that is
And
the
I was like your 5-year-old that walked into the room. It's like mom and dad are arguing. But this is my house too, so I have to stay here to figure out what's happening. I couldn't decide if I should leave or
But,
not.
I'm just here for Cheerios.
That's me.
Mom and Dad, stop arguing.
We still love each other, I promise.
We still love each other. We did not kiss, but we did make up. Um, no, it's great. So really thankful to be going on that journey of figuring out kind of publishing, management, production, all the things.
I think that's worth unpacking a little bit, just because we're going through a conversation that's happening in the industry right now, of what's the proper application for AI in the music industry.
Yeah.
How does that affect the creative process, and that intersection, which I think we have a unique positioning in to really dig deep into that. So that is actually kind of one of my highs, not controversy, but
I was just saying it was neither high nor low. It just was.
but
It was whelming,
I
not
think we're onto
overwhelming or underwhelming.
some really groundbreaking stuff, which we'll see,
Yeah.
and keep people updated on as we move forward.
Yeah. So thankful for that. And it finally clicked this morning. I think it did for me. I was like, okay, John's not out to destroy my life. I'm just kidding. That's never been
Or
the
the
case.
music,
Or the music
creative
industry.
process,
We
or
might.
industry.
But thankful for
All
that.
right, time's up.
Okay. And man, I finished a song in the last week that I'm really proud of, and have gotten some good initial feedback, which really did prompt a lot of the conversation
Yeah, I was gonna
for
say, that's perfect.
how do we get people's songs out more efficiently, and I would say like at large, half the price, half the time. And so
Bingo.
how can we execute on song getting outing, so that's a high.
Couldn't
And
said it better myself.
yeah, song getting outing.
Great LinkedIn title.
So there's that. That is me, Preston Seibert.
Love it.
And I think we go to you next, because I think we should end with Jon Mark and roll into
And then just roll right into it.
it. But John, what is your problem?
Your
Man.
happenings of last week.
Yeah. Well, my parents were in town last
To
weekend.
Bob and Karen.
Bob and Karen, shout out. That was awesome. I love my family. We've always been close, very close with my siblings. I'm down here in Waco. Everybody else is in Kansas City. So I get a bit of FOMO. And also there's a lot going on that it's just impossible to give all the updates on. So I think we spent a day and a half just driving to all the real estate projects that are going on, deep diving into the software stuff that's up. But yeah, it was awesome. I think it's probably the best time that we as a family have spent with my parents. I hope they would say the same. But
They
it
were
awesome.
whelmed, neither overwhelmed or underwhelmed, just whelmed.
Just whelmed. It was whelming. So that was awesome. On the high end, on the low end, my kids have been sick consecutively for the
Yes.
last 6 days. Shout out to my wife Betsy.
Betsy,
Just warrior all
Dude.
day. We'll skip
Legends.
over
the
you know,
deets.
all of the ick
The
that
deets.
she is taking care of behind the scenes to
Yeah.
make sure that life keeps going on. But I think the other thing to highlight is just most of my time is spent in the AI world and conversation and research, trying to stay on the front of that wave. And it's been really awesome. I think the most pertinent development about a month and a half ago, OpenClaw, it's been named 3 different times. I'm not going to go through all of that, but OpenClaw hit the market. People started discovering it. It's like, oh, hey, AI can actually start doing stuff for me now, not just give me answers. In about 60 days, it's gone from that to replacing, or at least people reporting that it's replacing full teams. So myself and Mark Harrison, good friend of mine from high school, have just been diving into that and finding some of the limits. It's like, oh, we can do a lot, but it's not market ready yet.
Let me ask you a question. I know this is a little deviating, but what would you think is like the inflationary value of time, like of how fast, like OpenClaw, like kind of became a thing, and how fast it iterates? Because like, in the past, like when you're iterating,
Daily,
like
every day, it's
yes,
turning
systems,
over.
like now it's like,
Yeah,
it's just like,
the market's turning over basically every day. It's absolutely insane to keep up with. But
Yeah,
excited
I
to
need to try.
like the Lord, it's like one day, 1,000 years, like one day for AI.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like that right now.
Yeah, God said AI for a long time.
So
Do so much.
yeah,
God is the
that's my
not
week
artificial, but
roundup.
Trying to not say something heretical over
yeah,
there.
seriously. I'm not in vocational ministry anymore.
And
So.
then I get to go to Florida next week with the family, trying to take a little rest and recovery.
Great.
So trying to get everything squared away that can fully unplug for a week and go
Great.
back and hit the ground running. But
It's great.
yeah, that's
Love to see it.
that's my week. More on the AI front, I'm sure, as we keep going.
Yeah.
John Mark,
Hello.
today is your day.
Today
Oh, my
is National Jon Mark Buckner Day,
It's awesome.
March 4th,
Yes.
Jon Mark Buckner Day.
My week's been good. Things are moving here in Waco. I feel like it's always the family front. So I got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. So T-ball and potty training seem to dominate most of life. Although that's not true. It's just like the mental space that's take. Things are moving and grooving downtown Waco. The city released a request for proposals for a large development right next to the river. So phase 1A of a 5-phase redevelopment of downtown Waco. So massive long-term implications. And I've been working with the team to respond to the proposal. So I've had lots of talks with project managers, architects, estimators, financial team, graphic designers, legal, banks. It just takes a lot of people. So someone asked me, how many people are on the team? I was like, I think maybe like 20, So like literally the paper can't be longer than, the proposal can't be longer than 30 pages. And I think
30 or 3?
30.
That's still a lot.
Well,
That's like a person a page almost right there.
but the first like 15 pages are basically bios.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of how these proposals work. So
We're good for it. Just look. This is what we've done.
So a lot of work there, and then some continuing communication for the Space Force event that's happening here in Waco in May. And then I've had a lot of just communication with city leaders about what do we want zoning to look like? How do we want urban infill to operate? So things that I'm passionate about, and I love doing.
And you had the glorious send-off of our former city manager yesterday.
Yes. So
Shout out to Bradley Ford.
everyone should go to audaciousplayground.com. Triple click, figure it out. Some cool little Easter eggs Jon McGovern's hiding over there on the website. But while I enjoy being on this podcast, I love writing and just being able to drop my thoughts into something formative. And I'm not the long blog post writer. I love reading things that are 3 minutes in and out. Understand someone's heart, what's going on really quick. So I've started writing once a week. That's kind of my goal, is to drop something in there. And there was I feel like I could take over our itinerary for today and just talk about how thankful I am for this leadership of the city of Waco and for Bradley Ford. We were at MCC last night, and it is incredible how unified the city is.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
awesome.
brag about Waco's community all the time.
That's really
And
cool.
it's a very intangible thing to try and communicate. There's no stats on that. But in the room last night, looking at multiple mayors getting up in a row and talking about how much they love the city, and multiple city managers and all these department heads and every bank representative and everyone who, if like, has had any influence on Waco the last 10, 15 years was in the room. And they weren't there for themselves. They were there to say thank you to other people.
That's
and
awesome.
it's that putting others first mentality that I just realized it starts at the top and it trickles down.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I just love living here. Thank you, Bradley Ford, for all you've done for the city of Waco.
Yes, so on our website, we have a link to our Substack. And
So you can go read
it'll-
little
it'll be
things
out
about
there.
what's happening.
Yeah, don't get too distracted. I know there's a lot on there,
There's a lot on there.
but you'll find the link that says Substack,
Substack. And it's,
and that'll get you connected.
there are only 4 links.
Spoiler alert.
And Jon Mark has 1 link.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's his child. I think it's a good segue. Obviously, John Mark sounds a
Well,
little
before we move on,
passionate
can we get
about.
Bradley on the show?
Yeah, we need to get Bradley on the show. Hey, Bradley, if you're listening,
That would be awesome. Because it is true.
Yeah.
We've got just incredible city managers, mayoral staff,
yeah,
and pedigree for what's happened in Waco.
Oh yeah.
And
cool.
not a lot of people get to interact with that and actually see the spirit behind, what's getting done. So that could be good. Let's look into that.
It's got some time,
Well,
sort of.
in the beginning, there was Jon Mark.
That's
He was
not true.
born.
In the
In
90s.
his story.
In the 90s, there was Jon Mark.
There was Jon Mark.
Not in the beginning.
But I feel like most, interviews or whatever, it's like, take us to the beginning, take us to the start. I'd actually kind of like to look at it in reverse direction
Okay.
a little bit.
Gotcha.
Give us an insight into where you're at
The
right
old, the
now.
old Benjamin Button rundown.
Yes, it's Benjamin Button.
It's like yelling at someone, say the alphabet backwards. And you're just like, Z-Y-X.
Yeah.
A little bit harder.
Because I think starting at the end, not the end, but starting where we're at now, will help give a little bit more context
Yes.
of just the unique story that's been written in your life.
Okay, so are you asking for like what projects I'm in right now, or like what am I working on right now, and then
Just this, like, two of the things that you're most passionate about right now, as much detail as you're, comfortable giving. Just
Okay.
give a little bit of
gotcha. There's a lot of brands in the fire always, which I like, and then there are moments where I dislike. I think if you're an entrepreneur and you more than likely have lots of brands in the fire, which is very fun until you grab the wrong end of the brand, and then it just really hurts. But hopefully you learn your lesson and you keep moving forward. Probably the two things on my mind the most have to do with housing and job creation. And a lot of my time, the way I operate is that, okay, this is a kind of chicken and egg scenario. Often in the housing world, we say, like, okay, who's the end user on this? And so in Waco, if you're building a home, single family home or an apartment complex, you're asking who's going to live here. And there is demand for that, but if there's business growth, that would help drive demand.
yeah.
So people are always looking at stats like who's moving to town, what companies are creating. Because of that, what level of income is going to be available, so who can buy what. But then on the other side, if people are going to live here, work here, they need a home. So you kind of have to, I want to invest in both at the same time.
Yeah.
I lately on the job side, it's been with investing through the Endless Frontier Institute, which is this U.S. Space Force Signal Demand event happening at Baylor in May.
Right.
And that's just gathering tech defense firms, aerospace firms, talking about how can we invest in the tech defense economy and how can we create job growth, particularly in Central Texas for that. So a lot of conversation there I'm excited about. Smaller scale, just as exciting, is 34th Street in Bosque. Over across town, John, Cameron Filger, and I bought a shopping center, 50,000 square feet, total remodel.
Yep.
And so I think there's 4 tenants over there right now, and we need like 25 or something for this
Yeah.
to be like a viable project. So it is super exciting. The city is excited about it. Entrepreneurs are excited about it. The neighborhood is excited about it. Churches, nonprofits, everyone is just so excited to see what was an abandoned shopping center be turned back into a life-giving, vibrant community hub.
Yeah.
So excited about that. So job creation in there through real estate. And then I love recently, small but mighty project. We have an 8-plex we're working on putting on the corner of 6th Street and Colcord. And the idea is how can you make the 8-plex look like it's just part of the neighborhood?
Yeah.
So there is a place for large multifamily. I think that's great.
For sure.
There's a place for single family. And I don't want people who are living in single families to feel like they don't belong in their neighborhood anymore. But there's all these urban infill spots where it just doesn't make sense to
Yeah.
put in a single family home. They're
And
probably-
we touched on that a little bit on the last pod, but number of vacant lots in Waco right now.
yes,
It's
over 6,000.
over 6,000 vacant lots.
Correct.
So there's a lot of infill opportunity.
crazy.
That's a ton.
And then, so like with that 6th Street project, that overlaps with kind of an initiative that the city of Waco's putting together, right?
Yeah, so there is movement for the city of Waco to develop something called the Cottage Court Amendment, which just means that a cottage court, imagine like 6 houses around the shared courtyard. That'd be a courtyard, a cottage court, a bunch of cottage houses. So it's small units, shared parking on the back, shared garden on the front end.
Yeah.
And so instead of going into an urban infill scenario and you build 2 single-family homes that both sell for $360,000, obviously you set a price point and anyone below that can't get it anymore. But if you
Right.
put 6 units on that, 8 units on that. So in this case, we took 2 oversized lots, replatted them together, and we brought a design to the city that hopefully helps us find great urban infill that's slightly more dense and introduces a new price point to the market.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to get links on this up on the website because we've got basically a link tree that people that are interested in this can see kind of like, hey, here's some of the stuff that's going on. So you can put some pictures and imagery to just the words.
Yeah. Preston, am I missing anything? What am I doing?
There's still a lot. We don't need to go like full depth. This
It's
is
like,
just
and we're
kind of
done.
getting a starting point. But then when we start diving into
And we're
the,
done.
like, so where would you say you're from? It paints a more full picture.
I was just, I mean,
of all the different things.
do you have anything to where like if people are, it's like, oh, 6,000 lots, I have the opportunity to invest in that or to put money into that. Could they reach out to you? It's like, hey, I want to do this, or what does that look like?
Of course, you asked a hard question. You can follow me on Strava or on LinkedIn. So if you want to see my running schedule or
Go chase them down.
how I like other people's posts on LinkedIn, that's how you can get involved in my life.
You can follow him on MySpace.
Yeah, try
Maybe
and get
become
my
one of his
top
top 8, top 16.
Honestly, getting involved in the startup Waco community down here on Austin Avenue is a
Yep.
great way to start getting involved in what I'm part of. Been office out of here for 5 years. I'm starting to post when I'm writing on LinkedIn. So if you want to hear my thoughts more regularly or subscribe to this podcast, obviously,
Yes.
those are probably the best way to get involved.
Yeah. For people that are in Waco or are interested in getting involved with Waco, reaching out on LinkedIn is the best starting
Yes.
point. Shoot a message like, hey, here's what we do or what we would be wanting to do. That's a good starting point. And even if people are needing to get connected with like the city and the amazing staff at the city, but don't know where to start, just shoot us a message. And right now, LinkedIn is probably the best place to get a take.
And this is like a sidebar in this whole conversation, but one of the reasons I'm excited about Audacious Playground is it is putting a platform in my life to help me share with others what I'm doing and what's happening in the city of Waco, to invite them to join this audacious goal of building a city, this job that never finishes. I work with a guy here in town named Chris McGowan, and he looked at me and said, Jon Mark, guess how long it takes to build a city? And I said, how long? He said, forever. It's like you never finish. So it is exciting, and historically, my head's been to the ground, and I've accomplished a lot because of that. Some people are really great at sharing what they're doing. I'm not one of those people, so I want to be better.
But hey, now you're here. Your
Let's
co-host
get in the game.
and our first guest.
So quite a bit of real estate projects. I think that's
Yes.
accurate to say that your primary focus has been more on the real estate side.
Yes.
And then on connecting.
Yeah.
So bringing people, organizations, instruments to the Waco area that can start making some impact or bigger impacts.
So are we going to continue to Benjamin Button this thing? Do I go back one more step? Or do we just jump
No.
to the great beginning?
Now it's like, hey, that's where you're at now. Okay. Let's go back in. Give us a little family history, a little background. Where were you before you knew Waco existed? We'll start at childhood.
Oh, gosh.
Like, who's Jon Mark?
I think you
I
always.
think
knew
I was
Waco
2 weeks old my first trip to Waco. So I've been around Waco for a long time. Goes back to my parents were Baylor grads. They graduated in the mid 80s, and they worked for Highland Baptist Church and worked with Jimmy and Laura Seibert, who eventually planted I was going to say Antioch, Austin, but it was like Antioch Community Church here in Waco. And it's confusing because my family in the 90s, we moved to Austin.
yeah.
My dad planted a church that was Hope in the City, which eventually turned back into Antioch, Austin. So like all my worlds, it feels like I've gone full circle. Everything starts and ends in Waco for me. And so while I did grow up in Austin in the 90s, we were frequently traveling up to Waco for events at Highland Baptist Church and then later on for Antioch Community Church. In 2003, my family moved to Indonesia. My dad worked at a seminary over there. And then when I graduated from high school in 2011, I didn't really know anyone stateside, but I knew that Antioch Community Church would be on my family. And I didn't have a car, didn't have any money in the bank account, but showed up to Baylor, got a good enough scholarship. And true enough, the church became my family and supported me. There was, yes.
Wait, how long
hand
were you?
raised.
How long were you in Indo for?
I lived in Indonesia for 8 years.
Okay, because you were only in Boston like for just a few years. Like
I never lived in
you never
Boston.
lived in Boston.
I've never lived there. Apart from a
Great. So
month and a half.
That is my
one summer.
second addendum. Of I said last week that Jon Mark was from Boston, so he's not.
We got to start this
Jon Mark's-
podcast off with like intro, addendums around the horn,
Yeah, it's like corrections.
and then what we want to talk about.
Okay,
And then
so,
addendums on the back end.
I'll write
yes,
that
so
down.
you were in Indonesia for 8 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Went from there to eventually, I did YWAM, so I was in England, South Africa, and then Waco, of course, the natural progression for people from Southeast Asia. You land in Waco, Texas. And I had great childhood. Loved landing at Baylor. I got a journalism degree because it was the easiest degree I could get. My mother-in-law says that I majored in Antioch and minored in Baylor. Very accurate.
Me too.
Um,
Well, not even Baylor. MCC, minor to MCC.
I paid a lot more from my minor than you, so you made a better call there. But it all turned out well. The history from there is I got married right after graduating from Baylor to my wife, Michelle, and we worked for an Antioch church in northern Colorado, in Fort Collins for 2 years before moving back to Waco because we love the size of the city. We love that our church community and the churches we are part of, our network, everything comes through Waco. And also the Baylor community is just a lot of fun. I love the college town feel.
Yeah.
There's always a sporting event. You can go to orchestra event at Baylor, some type of production. It's always some type of entertainment.
It is really cool. There's a lot because of Baylor that you don't typically have in a city this size.
Mm-hmm.
There's baseball games all spring
Yeah.
at Baylor. There's amazing basketball games through the winter. There's football, and it's all right downtown.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. And then I think not a lot of people attend the performing arts portion from Baylor that is available throughout the year, and that has been really cool, engaging with
Yeah,
that
I
as
was
well.
I was in the Baylor Men's Choir for a little bit.
Hey,
So
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I was a church music minor.
I didn't know that either.
So I took all the music classes, all the theory, piano, voice.
Wow.
And one of the classes you have to take as a music minor, music major, is you have to attend X amount of performances. So you get a full list of every performance that's going to happen for the year. And there are a lot of performances happening
There-
at Baylor.
Yeah.
Our friend, shout out to Taylor Vieger.
Taylor, we love you, man.
We'll have you on eventually, Taylor. He's the marketing director for the School of Music. He said they do 300 events a year.
It is so many.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, there are 365 days in the year.
So
So that's almost.
come to Waco, catch a Baylor event. If you live in Waco, go take a look.
Can I tell a quick story of attending a music event?
Yes.
Michelle and I were dating, and this class was like 1 hour of credit, but you had to attend something like 15 performances, which is a lot in the semester if you just layer that into your normal school schedule for like 1 hour credit. And so there was one on a Thursday night. I was like, great, I'm not doing it that night. I'm just going to go. Michelle came with me, and it just said like flautist. And so you walk in and you sit down, and you're just like, okay, I just got to like swipe in to say I'm here and then swipe out to say I stayed the whole time. And this lady,
Bro's just ripping on the flute.
this lady
I know.
sits down and just goes and literally like spits. It's like modern flout.
It was like avant-garde flautist.
Yes.
Dude,
And
we should have her on.
I've
I
never heard of such a
laughed
thing.
so hard in this silent auditorium. It's like, "Ah!" And then I cover my mouth and then proceeded to just like everything in me to hold it in as this lady hacked into her flute for like an hour. And then walked out. Like, what was
What
that?
just happened?
I
Dude,
mean,
an avant-garde flautist.
yes.
Oh my gosh.
We need to have her on.
This is something
If you're
I would
listening,
expect to see it like a
us
Saturday Night
up.
Live skit.
Man, I was like, I would not pay money to see that, but I'm kind of
I'd swipe-
glad I saw
I'd
that.
swipe my
But that
card.
was
That's
For
funny.
everyone listening, that's an outlier event for the music department.
I think she was like world renowned. Like
I'm
I'm
sure.
sure it was like, we want her back. We want more people hacking.
She's
into
got something.
flutes.
There's something special going on
She's
there.
got something we need here. Don't know what it is.
You know, not my thing.
All right, so taking us back, time in Indonesia.
Yes,
You're a PK then, pastor's kid,
turn missionary
roughly,
kid.
missionary kid. So you get kind of a foot in both of those camps. You and your wife meet at Baylor.
Yeah, correct.
How did you guys meet?
Church small group. I was
There we go.
actually in Penland at Baylor. Your freshman year, you have to live on campus. So I live in Penland. And my first week, Preston, I was invited to a life group by Brandon,
my
your
brother.
brother.
Yeah.
And I walked
Surprise,
20
surprise.
minutes across Baylor's campus all the way to like 18th Street to a life group.
Yeah.
And it was great. But then the next week, someone said, I'll give you a ride. And I didn't have to walk. I was like, that's great.
You never looked back. Oh, to that life group or to a different
To
one?
another life group.
You never
So
looked
someone
back.
won up to Brandon by offering me a ride so I didn't have to walk. And it was Jack Stedman, who lived 2 doors down from me.
He was
And
also a
when
Kansas
I
City guy.
walked out of Penland into the parking lot to get in Jack's car, there was a girl leaning against the car also waiting for Jack because he had also promised her a ride, and it was Michelle.
Another Kansas City person. Bunch
So
of
Okay.
there we are. Now, fast
Thanks,
forward a
Jack.
few years, and we're married, and Michelle and I have 2 kids and started a whole bunch of businesses. And
Yeah,
all because you invited me to life
and that's the
group.
podcast. We're done.
we're going to wrap right there. That's it. Everything you need to know. No, I'd love to step into a little bit. So, you guys met during college, got married after graduation,
Correct. Rainbow Spring,
and then lived in Colorado Springs?
Fort Collins.
Fort Collins. My bad for all you
Actually, we
Coloradans.
tried to live in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
Did I tell you this?
No,
Preston?
me too. But yeah.
Well, we bought tickets to go up so that I could interview for a job in Colorado Springs.
Really?
Yeah, and the job's like basically guaranteed. And right before we got up, the guy shut down his business. So like literally I bought the flights. I had proposed to Michelle with the whole like idea of I have a job. So now we can do this.
Don't worry, babe.
And of course
Got this.
the job no longer exists.
Hey, remember that thing that I was like, we're set, babe.
And so
Yeah, that company doesn't exist anymore.
a hard pivot. We ended up going
2 hours north.
instead of 2 hours south.
Yeah.
So flew into Denver, went up, and Uncle Jimmy texted me and Chris Marabito and said, "This is Jon Mark. Can you sleep on your couch?" And so we knew 0 people when we moved to Fort Collins.
Yeah.
And it was really hard. But I don't think we really knew how hard it was until after we had moved away. But it was great just to invest our life. I think there's something important in marriage about you versus the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so bonding. You did this with Carolyn in Baton Rouge. You did this with Betsy in California. It's
Yep.
this life transformational thing where you decide that we're in this together.
Yes.
You know, you make these vows about sickness or unhealth, but like, okay, get on the ground, go out there, we gotta do
true.
life together.
Yep.
It's true.
I think in my season, one of the things that stands out to me is you don't really understand the shift of the pace of life pre-marriage to post-marriage. Because pre-marriage is like you're calling your friends, you're calling your buddies, you're doing whatever. You're also talking to them about everything. After you get married, those relationship dynamics should change a bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Shift, yeah.
But it exaggerates that when you go to a new town because the outlet is your marriage, like the place where you converse the place where you're vulnerable or not or whatever. It just brings a hyper focus to that doesn't necessarily happen when you stay in a familiar place, because when stuff goes either awry or really, really great, dude, you've got, phone calls or past history, like all the friends that have all been there. It's just really easy to call one of them up versus sharing that with your spouse. And
True.
in all of that, the roots go really, really deep. So,
And another shout out to my music, Future Past on
Yep.
Spotify and Apple Music, but still figuring that out, Apple. My song Dying Seed, it's one of the lines. It's with the capital city, with the one I trust, we could take on the whole world. It was me, her, and us, like people, equipped with faith. And so it's part of my story too.
So, Jon Mark, while you guys were in Fort Collins, what do you think kind of the greatest takeaway from that season is for you in that?
I think the greatest takeaway was how much we valued community and realizing how important that was to us. In marriage, you start to realize like there's me, there's you, there's us. And it takes hard work to figure out what that us is. What are our values? What do we want to do? And community became very clear to us. We were up there to serve community, and then we started looking for the community for the rest of our lives. We just knew that our people for the long haul, our community, was going to be in Waco.
Cool.
And so that decision to value community, be a top value in our family, has influenced everything since 2018 when we moved back to Waco.
Awesome. Well, let's jump into that point. So last time we were talking about the impact of Dunder Mifflin on your professional career
Oh my gosh,
and
got
the
me so far.
inspiration to start a paper goods company.
Which that's the part that got cut out, actually,
Oh, no.
last time.
Well, good. We get to
So-
revisit that. It's just so awesome.
The intro to last week was talking about Audacious Paper Co.,
Yeah.
but it cut out the whole story because we had no mic.
Okay, so the
So
story
now,
is that
here we go.
we moved back to Waco, and I got a job selling tours for Waco Tours.
Yes.
Phenomenal sales job. I think everyone should do sales in some capacity. There's something about the high reps and the crazy amount of rejection you get that is character forming, and
So true.
it's so painful, so good. But while I was doing that, Michelle decided to start a paper goods company. While she started the company, but while she was doing that, she watched the entirety of The Office. So I would sell tours from, I think I had to be on site like 7:30 a.m. or 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. And then I'd get home and Michelle would be on the couch, cozied up with her laptop. Like, hey, what are you doing? And she'd be like, EIN, formation documents, buying goods. And Michelle is amazing. Going out and starting new things like that is not her default, so it still kind of amazes me to this day that she did that. She decided to start a letterpress printing company,
Yeah.
and the joke is that her dream spiraled out of control, and that got me my first break, which is that I came home and she goes, I want to make letterpress goods. I'm like, great. What the heck is letterpress? And she's like, oh, it's an old school printer. And I was like, great. How, like, are we talking like
Like
10
Gutenberg.
pounds tall? She's like, no, like 2,000 pounds, cast iron, solid steel. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Gutenberg
So,
style.
yeah,
Yeah.
Gutenberg. So we go out and we buy this printer and we put it in our garage. And I'll come home from doing sales, and she would say, it's really hot in the garage. I was like, okay, what are we going to do about it? She's like, well, what if we got a studio? I was like, okay, well, sure, we can look into a studio. So we'll find some cheap place. Maybe it'll be air conditioned.
Yeah.
And then you start looking for the studio, and I come back another day, and she goes, well, what if there's a little store on the front end of the studio? And you're like, okay, so we went from yes, we went from like, okay, we'll like have something in a garage and we'll sell things online to now we have 1,500 square feet downtown, 5 employees. It's like
That escalated quickly.
yeah, very quickly. And so, and Michelle's skill that she is so good at is making beautiful things and graphic design. And so she designed the whole store. She got all the visual guide for the cards we were going to make. Phenomenal. the thing that she did not like that I jumped in to help with was the back end. So it's bookkeeping, taxes, management, the day-to-day operations. And so it was awesome. General Letterpress, downtown Waco. We ran that from 2019 to 2023, 24. But in that period, that was my MBA. I said this earlier. I got a journalism degree because it was the easiest degree I could find at Baylor. I literally read through the handbook at all the classes. And I remember getting to the business school section and looking at all the classes and thinking, that looks so boring. I could not do that. And journalism was things like write a paper, get on social media, tell other people about something, design a magazine, take a photography class. Like, that sounds fun. I can do that. And so as a general press, it was my MBA. It was learning all the basics, the cycle of business, the year cycle. When do you have to do franchise tax? What are quarterly payments? Why the heck are we writing letters to the comptroller? Who the heck is a comptroller?
Exactly.
So we had 5 employees, and we were printing and actually started selling our paper goods to other stores around the country. So we get orders in from indie paper stores, East Coast, West Coast, all over the place, even if you're in Canada, and print them, package them, mail them out. And we need a little bit more space, as one typically does in retail, because you get tired of boxes just being on your main table in your break room.
Yeah.
And I knew that in the retail space next to us, like a running company, they had a back office. And so I reached out to the building owner and I said, hey, they have a back office. How do I get a back office? Could I rent the apartment behind us so we can have a back office? And they said, no, someone lives there right now, but the building's for sale. So once again, things escalating quickly.
So we went from watching The Office
Yes.
to we're starting a paper goods company, but we'll just do it in the garage.
Right.
But the garage is kind of hot. So
Right.
I said, like, hey, we'll get like a window unit.
Right.
And make the garage cooler. Now we're talking about buying, what, a 20,000 square foot building in downtown?
Oh, maybe more than that, if I remember.
30,
Yeah.
40,000 square feet.
15 apartments, 3 commercial spaces,
Yeah.
20 parking spots,
Okay,
downtown.
I'm trying to follow along here. I love it. Love the
That makes
escalation.
sense. Yes.
Yeah, but Michelle's family had sold a family company, so we had enough money from that to buy our house, and
Yep.
we wanted to invest some of that money elsewhere in Waco and projects we were passionate about.
Cool.
And it was 2019, and I just literally did not know any better. Like, money was so cheap.
This was the 2% interest season.
Yes.
2019. Yeah.
And the building had just been remodeled, and it was 100% leased. So from day one to this day, it is cash flowed.
Yeah. That's
So it was like an accidental success. I look back now, and I wasn't thinking.
That's
I remember
awesome.
talking to the real estate agent, like, how much should we offer for this? And they said, like, you could do this or that. I didn't know like cap rate or like exits or anything. Didn't know anything about like a 5-1 arm or like
Yeah.
what insurance was going to cost. I was just like, I need more office space. so the end result was
Hey,
we
can
bought
I get
the
another 100 square feet? We've got too many boxes. Well, I'll see your 100 square feet and
Raise you a
the entire
building.
But
That's awesome.
I think there is something important in real estate, and in owning real estate,
Yeah.
that is, if you are willing to play the long game, I'd say that again, it is a great thing to invest in. If you're on social media and you're seeing people talk about real estate or Airbnb or this or that, and like you get in, it's going to cash flow quickly, and then you flip it in 4 years. Like, no, real estate is a long game. The people who are successful in it,
Yeah.
they look at market trends, they make purchases calculated and carefully, unlike myself. And
Well,
they
so-
play it out over 40, 50 years, lifetimes. And then they hand off to their kids who play it over lifetimes. And that is where the wealth is made in real estate.
I was going to bring something up that you just kind of hit on again. From your self description, it's like, I don't analyze. I'm not that, I didn't do that in college. It's not what I go. But in knowing you, man, you dig deep and you analyze actually pretty deeply. And even as you're telling the story and the segue into commercial real estate, that was just like, well, I mean, we had our business there. The building was offered to us. It cash flowed. So why not? one, like that's the definition of the playground for sure, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of just seeing opportunity. Why not? And I would guess there was a pray it out season in that with your wife. Like, hey, is this something we should do or not do? But fast forwarding, when did you guys buy the building? Is that
2019.
19? So fast forwarding 7 years now.
6, 7.
6, 7.
Great. Keep going, John.
I see that as a pivotal moment that unlocked
Oh yeah.
where you're at now. Would
Yeah.
you describe that
Well,
the
and,
same way?
and I want to say, because we are talking about failures and successes in this, so y'all sunset it, like you shut down the frontage of General Letterpress. So I guess where, and kind of tagging off John's question, like where is like I don't see it as a failure, because obviously it was the launching pad for a lot of stuff. So it was kind of more of a statement with potential question in there. But yeah, answering John's question and then going from there.
Your question again.
Your question was?
The question was essentially, what do you see in that season and what it's unlocked for what you're doing now, 7 years later?
Yeah, I learned all the back end of a business, how it operates, why they work, what's expensive in business, what to avoid, how to network. So all the skills were learned.
How did you learn them? Was it like just like in real time had to figure it out?
This is okay. We're gonna come back to this a lot. It's literally the Audacious Playground of Waco.
Yeah.
It's a community that's there to help you. And
Yeah, that's awesome.
I would get stuck, and then I would just talk to someone. Hi, I have a question. What is a franchise tax? And they would say, oh, I'll help you with that.
Yeah.
Or how do I raise money to buy a building? Oh, here's the answer. There was no stupid questions. There's always people
That's
willing
great.
to help me out.
I love it.
And I'm not trendy or cool enough to set up a influencer account and be like, I watched YouTube and it's easy and just go off and do this. I know it's like I got myself stuck in real problems, and then I reached out to people because I knew they ran businesses, and I asked for help, and they told me how to make it through the next step. And at the end of each question, there'd be an answer, and then ask another question, another answer, and that's how you keep going.
I think that's an important point to highlight. So in our generation, the top line stories are the unicorn tech breakouts, the like guy makes a piece of software, sells it for $10 million and like just in his basement. And it sounds like, and it creates the impression that to do something meaningful or I don't know, amazing, whatever, it just kind of falls on you. And that's not the case. Like there are very few times, and typically when you like open up the hood and look what it took, even for the unicorn stories, is this whole backstory process of exactly what you're describing. Of you get yourself into something you didn't really understand was going to be that complicated or spawn into that many things, right?
Yes.
But the initial one is like, ooh, that seems good. I could do this. And then that actually turns out being like, well, we need more space than just a printer in our garage. So then you solve that problem. And you solve the next one and the next one and the next one. And that is just one of the pieces of the story. Like, hey, when you get into something, and this is true for many of the people that I've talked to that have had exits, that have lived the success story. Like if you were to do it all over again, would you have taken that first step? And a lot of people are like, no, because it was way more than I thought.
Right.
That was super painful. But in hindsight, it got you to a really good place.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, this question of like success or failures. Like, okay, I guess technically there are failures. There's like money loss that could be seen as a failure, but it's looking for that silver lining that like you gained experience on each step. And if God has a purpose and a plan for our lives, that everything we are part of has a purpose that draws us into the next thing as we're adventuring with Him. And I'll fast forward us into the next part of the story.
Yeah.
And which is moving to a new home, living in Cameron Park, driving to downtown, and looking on either side of 4th and 5th Street and thinking there's a lot of vacant lots. And one of the cool things about real estate is when you invest in real estate, then you have an asset that you can leverage for something else. So you can leverage a building to get finances to go after another asset. You learn how then all these financial tools within real estate for raising money and deploying it. So you can raise money from banks and friends and family. You can, there's exchanges, there's REITs, there's funds. So it's a very complex, and depending on the size of your project, there's different tools available to you. But I was driving up and down 4th and 5th Street and realized there's a lot of vacant lots here in Waco. And the question I was wrestling with post-January letterpress, we have this one real estate asset, is how can I have the most impact on the city I am in? And I was thinking, do I start a business that hires 1,000 people? Is that the way to go? Or do I start doing real estate and building one house at a time? Do you start a nonprofit to just start serving the poor in the city, those in financial need? And I knew that there were people out there who were going to be more capable of starting businesses, but I understood real estate at this point. Having had a little bit of success, understanding the back end, my parents had taught me a little bit as well growing up. And so I looked at my commute and I said, okay, I pray every day for this neighborhood, what it looked like to see this neighborhood thrive. And so I got onto Waco MCAD, the county website, and I put a box around the neighborhood and I counted every lot in the neighborhood, and I designated every single lot as either vacant, improved, like quality home, or a house that is like B standard, that's like not great. And I found that between my house and my office, there were 187 vacant lots.
Wow.
So that was 34% of the lots are vacant. And vacant just means like there's no improvement, there's no taxable structure. And I started asking questions. It's just when you email the housing director for the city of Waco. This is where I learned the stat on over 6,000 vacant lots. It's like, hey, Galen, how many vacant lots are there? And just asking questions. Meeting with my councilman, what is the need for this neighborhood? Do they need homes? Do they need nice homes? Do they need jobs? And just continue to ask questions. What is going to have the highest impact? And there's 187 vacant lots. I decided, okay, that's a great number. What would happen if you put 187 structures on 187 vacant lots? How would that transform a neighborhood? And the theory was that the city needs tax dollars, and most of the tax dollars come from, in Texas, we don't have state income tax, we do have property tax. So if you invest in a neighborhood, it actually creates tax dollars that can go into investing in parks, streets, economic development for other people. When you invest in building homes, people actually have places to live, just literal shelters for people, assets for people to own, to invest in their children or pass down to generation. And then also there's a lot of data out there for vacant lots being filled in and how that reduces crime. So vacant lot, let's say someone starts dumping on it, all of a sudden it encourages other people to dump. Sometimes the vacant lot means that people do trade drugs there. Maybe they park illegally. It's just a variety of things, both like large and small. So it's just vacant lots are just, if you can fill a vacant lot, it makes a big difference. And then also on the urban infill side, the cost for a city to expand outwards, say open a new subdivision south of town, west of town, wherever you live, is far greater than it is to simply infill. So the cost for a city to do infill is basically a water tap fee. A pipe goes to the street, they dig a hole, lay the pipe, here's a meter, boom, off to the races. But when you extend the city outward, you are spending millions of dollars on water extension lines, sewer lines, electric, and then it's infinitely more expensive. So cities, we're kind of seeing this full circle from 1920s to 2026 of white flight out to the suburbs, urban renewal, failed 80s, continued expansion of suburbia and small towns across the United States, and now this renewed interest in urban cores. I think it's a really valuable thing to invest in.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Getting that done, I think you've also run into the reality of the chicken and the egg.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about a little bit earlier of, hey, well, if we want to build all these new houses, those people are going to need jobs.
Yeah.
Are those jobs already here? Also, if we build all the new jobs, they're going to have a place to live. So where have you seen that Waco is in that cycle? Like, we've got 6,000 vacant lots. Why are there not houses on there already?
Great question. Complex for a number of reasons. Sometimes it is that people are land banking them and they just don't want to build on the home because they don't believe that they'll get value back from building the house. Sometimes there's something called tangled titles, which maybe means that a family member or your grandma owned this lot, but then they passed away, and then the ownership of the lot got divided between 4 people, and then all those 4 people had 4 kids. So now the lot is owned by 16 people. There's that's a real thing, and
Yep.
there's probably several hundred lots in Waco alone, let alone the United States, where you try and buy a lot and they go, oh, you have to get sign off from every single family member that they're going to transfer ownership of this lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes people own the lot, it's delinquent in taxes, but it has to accumulate X amount of dollars before the city can take control of it. So you have a lot of lots like that in this neighborhood where I think it has to accumulate something like $6,000 of back taxes, but a vacant lot might only be taxed at $240 a year. So you're looking at how many years? 20 years of back taxes that have to accumulate before it can qualify to be owned by the city, before the city can take possession and pass it over. So there's a lot of reasons that lots will sit vacant, but ultimately it's because people are not placing value on them. And the reason I chose my neighborhood, apart from it being my commute, it having lots of opportunity, I think there's location, and there's timing.
Yeah.
So the vacant space is super attractive. Location. It's in between Cameron Park, the river, and a growing downtown. Downtown Waco is about to see this massive development. So let's assume the city puts in $200-300 million into underground improvements. Private dollars bring on a couple billion on top of that. Well, how does that affect the value of the neighborhood next to it? You can see pretty quickly that that neighborhood's going to increase in value as well. So there's location and just that timing piece. So it's right on the cusp of, yes, there's 34% vacant, but I think there's a very clear path in the next 10 years where it drops drastically from 34% vacant to 5% vacant. And I've been tracking the data for the value, for how these lots are trading on the MLS. Significant increase, even in just 4 years for what people are valuing them. Now, whether or not people build a home, that's something else. And that's where I hit this issue. I tell this idea often of okay, I built a single family home. I didn't want to sit around and do nothing and say, hey, I want to build this neighborhood. So I bought a lot and I built a home, and it was really expensive and I learned a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
It's hard to build a home for an unknown buyer.
Yep.
It's a dangerous game, and I mean that right now with carry costs. So once again, failure or win, I don't know. I've learned a lot from it. Hopefully I'll break even and
Yeah.
just keep going. But I feel like so often I'm staring at a wall that's covered in lights. It's almost like an LED screen wall, and you can touch it. And you touch one place and a small light comes on. But then you reach to the side and you touch another spot and the glow is even larger. And I feel like I'm looking for these projects where I can put effort and time and see larger return, larger impact. And so single family homes have impact, but to build 187 homes on single family homes on 187 vacant lots would be extremely expensive. There's no way I can accomplish that. I don't have the financial means, the time, the effort, but I realized, hey, if I am even more picky about where I build in this neighborhood, there are probably some lots that I can encourage other development. So this is the 6th and Colcord. It's at a high traffic intersection, and then you partner with the city to take just 2 lots, and you're not doing 2 single family homes anymore. You're doing multiple family homes. So you're increasing traffic, you're dropping crime, there's more tax dollars. And so I realized I'm excited not only to build real estate, but to look for high impact real estate projects that are going to transform neighborhoods. So looking for along Herring, anything where there's zoning that allows a little bit of mixed development, these
Yeah.
third spaces, higher density living.
Yeah.
Any question?
Well, I was going to transition into kind of just wrapping some things up. We're about at time. But as you look at Waco and where we sit now, there's some really cool things that are happening. I think a lot of people are aware of the underpinnings or, let's say, tremors, right? Of like, you can feel like, hey, there's kind of stuff coming. What are some of the things that are behind the scenes that, I don't know, average mom and dad, maybe lives in Woodway, probably aren't aware of, but are really meaningful or impactful that are in the works already, but maybe aren't seen yet?
It's like pull a unicorn out of your rear. What is that?
Well, so there's a couple of things that I know that we've talked about
Give me an example
that
and I'll go
involve
into that.
like sports teams, development. Like you're already talking about, there's the downtown development,
Yeah.
releasing phase 1A
Right.
of that. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, so what does that mean? A couple of things to know from an Audacious Playground perspective is if you want to get in the game, some great places to invest are quality office space and then manufacturing. Like manufacturing, heavy manufacturing, we just need more spaces for large manufacturers to come in. So on the high-end office space, think a nice build-out. Waco's sitting at somewhere between like 90 and 97% leased out. So if you need a nice office downtown, it's probably not available. I'm sure there's places around town, but like downtown Waco specifically, we are tapped out. If a company came to town and said we need 10,000, 20,000 square feet of nice office space, we'd say, sorry, we don't have it. And so this downtown development, phase 1A alone will introduce close to 800,000 square feet of Class A office space and retail. So think just a massive number of availability for new businesses to come to town to set up shop to provide new jobs for people. At the same time, the city of Waco has, you can look at this, wacodowntowndevelopment.com. There's this whole website dedicated to it. It's pages and pages you can research. So this is not like Jon Mark has secret information. I guess I saw the website a while ago and I've read it too many times. That's what I like to geek out over. But there's also, they want to put a minor league baseball park or sports facility downtown.
Yeah.
So that could be a high impact on culture.
Yep.
MLB is set to do an expansion in 2030. I think they have 30 teams now. They want to expand to 32. But if you add two MLB teams, there's this underneath that, there's going to be minor league teams.
Yep.
2 or 3 minor league teams per team. So if you introduce 6 new minor league teams into the United States,
Where do they go?
exactly. So
Very cool.
and so it's like, okay, how can Waco position itself to maybe receive one of those? Or arguably one of the most popular sporting phenomena right now is the Savannah Bananas.
I was about to say, have you guys seen this stuff about the bananas?
Oh yeah.
Phenomenal. So independent baseball is having a moment. Can Waco be involved in that? So that's something to be really excited about. I think like what other unique things? I just think Waco is investing in itself. The Riverwalk is about to get a major upgrade
Yeah.
behind the Foster Pavilion over to Baylor. So if you're a runner or you enjoy being near the river,
Yeah.
major upgrades coming the next few years for that. Downtown Waco sometimes gets really loud when a train goes through, but they're making quiet zones, so it's just easier to be downtown. Retail is super hard, but there's just so many great restaurants.
Yep.
Think about spending time at Milo or Opal's, Terry Black's, Revival. There's just so many to try out. And so there is this core of retail and culture that is growing that is fun to be around.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Preston, you've been quiet for a minute.
Hey, I'm just listening.
What do
I
you
don't
think?
really talk that much.
Yeah.
Give him his own episode, see what happens.
Yeah, seriously.
Awesome.
Anything that you're not touching or involved in that you're excited that's coming to Waco?
that I'm not involved in.
Yeah.
That's coming to Waco. I'm sure stuff is coming. Waco's at this like inflection point where it's small enough to where you can feel really involved, but large enough to where you will consistently find things like I had no idea that was coming. And so there are things coming to town that I have absolutely no part in, and they show up. I am
Yeah.
very thankful.
We're getting a TJ Maxx.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised.
I'm
I was
so jazzed for TJ Maxx.
I was looking at the article. There's like over 1,000 TJ Maxx in the
It is.
country. I was like,
It is.
how did we not have one already?
Well, it's that, and we're getting Sprouts, which I would like to take some credit for that. I emailed them 3 times
There you go.
over the past few years. I said, you have 41 locations in Texas, and you don't have one in Waco. So we got Sprouts
What-
coming.
How do you feel about Central Texas Marketplace for Sprouts, though?
I like Sprouts.
You're going to go out of your way to Central Texas Marketplace?
Well, I mean, I live in Woodway, so it's not that it's not that drastic. I thought you meant like Central Texas Marketplace, like the HEB organic grocery store.
Oh, no, not
Version.
Central. That's Central Market.
Central Market versus Sprouts. You're
To be
I'm
featured
South
on our
West.
addendum section of the next podcast.
We already did it. We already corrected it. Yeah, we'll have corrections and directions next, like every.
yeah.
Welcome to the podcast. Here's where we messed up last week.
No, but I'll say this.
Okay.
I'm really thankful for you, Jon Mark, and we've had a lot of our families have been interacted for our entire lives, which is really cool to think. And I really do enjoy being able to office with you and work and certain things with you. And it's been really great. And you're an encouragement to be with. And I believe in Jon Mark Buckner.
Thank you. Shout out to people listening. If you're in Waco, need a great place to work, come and start up Waco, get a day pass, or just be our friend for the day. Come to our office, hang out.
Office.
There's a growing culture of people that want to do things in
Yep.
downtown Waco. This is just a really great place to hang out. So
Yeah.
just come for lunch, come hang out.
Yeah.
Get connected. Get involved.
We'll do a wide camera shot sometime of like when we have a guest on, we have 4 people.
Yeah.
And so you can see our whole office and stuff.
You can see the setup and have a little bit more context. But for now, I think I'm going to
We did it.
write us out. That's episode 2 for the Audacious Playground. Be sure to check us out online, audaciousplayground.com.
Spotify,
And
Apple.
that has all the links to
YouTube.
everything. And subscribe to the pod. That will definitely help us as we grow and keep telling great stories.
Yes.
Y'all have a good one.
Goodbye.
Boom, boom.
Bye-bye.